Hey guys, today we'll be learning the basic method to solve a Newtonian mechanics problem. Newtonian mechanics deals with pulleys and wedges, and it also has blocks which hang on threads or some wire. Here is a procedure for solving a Newtonian mechanics problem. First of all, mark all the forces and accelerations present in the system, like the tension and the normal forces. Then draw the free body diagram of all the masses involved. Then write the constraint equations. Here we make use of the fact that the thread can't supply power to the system. It can only transfer the power to the system. So the total power consumed by the system would be equal to 0. Write the force equation from the FBD, that is the free body diagram. In order to find the acceleration or the missing term, you have to solve all these equations finally. Let's move to a question. Now this is a wedge and pulley problem, and here the mass M is placed on an inclined surface which is at an angle theta from the horizontal. Again we'll mark all the forces and accelerations in this system. Let's say that the tension over here is T. Since this whole thread is going round here and it's the same over here also, so the tension in this wire also becomes T. Let's say that we don't know the tension in this wire. Let's assume that it's F. So if I draw the free body diagram of the pulley, then there is a tension downwards over here, and there is a tension downwards on the right side also, and then there is a force F upwards. Since the pulley is at rest, it's not accelerating, and since the acceleration is 0, therefore we can say that the total force on the pulley is 0. So the total force, that is F minus 2T, is equals to 0. From here we conclude that F is equals to 2T. So we can say that F is equals to 2T. And since this thread is same along till the mass M, the tension in this thread is also 2T. Now the 2m mass is going downwards. Let's say its acceleration is a1, and the m mass is going upwards. Let's say its acceleration is a2. So now we're done with marking all the forces and accelerations. Next we have to draw the free body diagram of these two blocks, M and 2m. So I'm having a rough sketch of the free body diagram. Let's see the 2m mass. It's hanging with a thread, and the tension in the thread is T. So the tension in thread is T, and the downward force which is applying on this block will be the gravitational pull, which is 2m into g. Now for this block on the wedge, there are three forces. The first one is due to the tension in the wire. The second one is the normal contact force due to the surface of the wedge, and the third one will be a gravitational pull of the earth. So this force parallel to the surface of wedge is 2T, and this force normal to the surface of wedge is the normal contact force N. The third force is the gravitational pull due to the earth, which is mg. Now when we'll be finding the force equations, we'll have to resolve all the forces in components such that they can be equated to each other. One way is either to resolve N and 2T into vertical and horizontal components, and the second way is to resolve mg into component parallel to N and parallel to 2T. I'll choose the second way and move on to draw a new free body diagram for block M. So we can say that the component of mg, which is parallel along N, is given by mg cos theta. So this component becomes mg cos theta, and the component of mg which is parallel to 2T is mg sin theta. So this force becomes mg sin theta. This is N and this is 2T, like in the previous free body diagram. The acceleration of this block is a1 in downward direction, and the acceleration of block M is a2 at angle theta from the horizontal. Now we have to find the constraint equations from these two blocks. Again, we write the constraint equations by finding the total power consumed in this system, consumed by this system, and equating it to 0. Since the power is force into velocity, let's say that the block M is traveling by velocity v2 and the block 2M is traveling by velocity v1. So clearly the power consumed by the sum of the power consumed by block M is given by 2t into v2, and the power consumed by block 2M is given by t into v1, and the total power is equal to 0 since the thread does not supply power. Now if we differentiate this equation with respect to time, we'll get 2t a2 minus t a1 equal to 0. Here t get cancelled and we are finally left with a1 equals to 2a2. This is our constraint equation. Now we have to form the force equations from the free body diagrams. In this free body diagram of block 2M, the block is going downwards. So we can say that the 2mg force is dominating the tension. So the total force on the block becomes 2mg minus t, and it is equal to the total force. So the total force on the block is 2mg minus t. So we can write 2mg minus t is equal to the total force, and the total force is given by mass into acceleration. The acceleration of this block is a1, and from the constraint equation we know that a1 is equals to 2a2. So we can write this as 2m into 2a2, which is equals to 4m(a2). For the second block, we can write the force equations, and we have to write the force equations in both the directions. The acceleration is in the direction parallel to the surface of the wedge and not perpendicular. The acceleration is in the direction parallel to the surface of the wedge. So there is no acceleration in the direction perpendicular to the surface of the wedge. Therefore we can equate these two forces, N and mg cos theta. So we can write N equals to mg cos theta. For the direction parallel to the surface of the wedge, there is a net acceleration, and since the block is moving upwards, the 2t force is dominating mg sin theta. So we can say that 2t minus mg sin theta will be the net force on the block M. So the force equation becomes 2t minus mg sin theta equal to the net force, and the net force is mass into acceleration. Now from this equation and from this equation we can find the value of a2, and a2 comes out to be g upon 5 4 minus sin theta. Again, this equation is dimensionally correct because sin theta is dimensionless and 4 is a number and numbers are dimensionless. So the dimensions of a2 is the same as that of g. Okay. So if we follow the 5 steps that are mentioned in the beginning, these 5 steps, then you can solve fairly difficult questions also. These are the basic steps to solve any Newtonian mechanics problem. Thanks for watching.